What is going on, everyone? This is Nick, and I'm finally giving a recap of an NBA Finals game. Something I actually haven't done because my viewership for my previous recaps have been down, so I felt like I should switch it up. But now that I don't really know what to talk about besides the finals, I may as well talk about the finals. So okay, if you really do enjoy my recaps, then please let me know and please share them with others so that I can do more of them. I just want to be able to give the content that I hope you guys enjoy the most. And you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot with a recap again and let's see how it goes. So if you really enjoy my recaps, then yeah, please remember to hit that like button. It only takes 1 second, really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you could please subscribe if you're new. I cover basketball, baseball, and football on this channel. That'd be much appreciated. And once the finals are over, again, my subscribers have heard me say this, that it'll be a lot more baseball and football content on the way. And also, if you could please hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Alright, here we go. So, the Bucks have evened the series, and I knew that they would get a game, maybe two, even after they were down 2-0, and here we are now. I said it at the beginning of my video about the 93 Suns. I'm going to leave a card up there. If you could please watch that, that'd be much appreciated. I think it's one of my better videos. I don't know what you guys are going to think of it, but just my opinion, I really appreciate it if you can check that out if you haven't yet. I mentioned early in that video, because I did briefly talk about this current NBA Finals, and I pulled up that Kobe clip of jobs not finished, and yeah, the job definitely was not finished because now the Bucks even the series. So Devin Booker scored 42 points, although just 4 in the fourth quarter. The rest of the Suns starters scored just 38. You could say Devin Booker choked at the end, but I still say that this is more him not getting enough help than it is his fault that when he was that good for 3 quarters. He scored 42 points while shooting 60% from the field. Although he did miss a layup late in the game. I think he rushed that, but overall, Chris Paul is more to blame than anyone else. But before we get to Chris Paul, I do also want to point out that Devin Booker has scored the most points ever by a player in his first ever career playoff run. That is absolutely remarkable. But I still say, chill out with the next Kobe talk. Let's not forget, Kobe did score 30 points per game while playing all 82 games, and then upped that to 32 per game in the playoffs in his age 24 season, when hand checking was still allowed. And this is not to discredit Devin Booker in any way whatsoever, it's just Kobe was that special of a player. And I know the Lakers lost in the second round that year, but they lost to the eventual champions, and Kobe scored more points per game in the playoffs. Yeah, on a worse percentage, but still, I mean, he faced tougher competition than the Suns have faced this year, and that's not debatable. He faced a 50-win team in the first round. Devin Booker, Devin Booker has hit some Kobe-like shots. I will not deny that, especially in this game. He does have some of that Mamba mentality in him. But Kobe had so much more bounce than Devin Booker at his age. If you watched Kobe play when Kobe was younger, you know this. And if you want to call me biased, well, I don't consider Kobe a top 3 player of all time, and I don't think it's completely wrong to say he's not top 5 all time. It only is completely wrong if you say he has no argument to be top 5 all time. But really, Devin Booker has my respect. But just let Devin Booker be Devin Booker, alright? Although, also about Devin Booker, as amazing as he was scoring-wise, he also got away with some fouls. He got called for only 5, but he definitely had more fouls than just 5. And the one on Drew Holiday on that fast break, how do you not call that? I mean, I understand it's the finals, you want to let them play, but bro, a foul is a foul and you have to call that. And 3 officials right there, and you don't see that that's a foul yet, everyone else does. And Hayden, who might be watching this, tweeted at me, and by the way, this is something that I always forget to do. Someone please remind me to always promote my social media. The links to my social media are in the description, so please follow me. I will follow you back. Alright, so yeah, Hayden tweeted at me that a guy with one eye could have seen that that was a foul, and yeah, damn right. But if you know me, you know that I am not a blame the refs guy, way more often than not. Even as bad as officiating can get, blaming the refs, I'm gonna keep it real, to me that's a loser's mentality. at least more often than not. And yes, this was really bad, but the Bucks won. So yeah, Suns fans, like, your star got away with something that egregious, and you still lost the game. So yeah, you especially cannot be blaming the refs right now. But okay, I said we're going to get to Chris Paul later, and here we are now. He had just 10 points on 5 of 13 with 5 turnovers, and he just made some really careless passes that were just not there. We can give some credit to Jrue Holiday, though. Some of this was just Chris Paul playing horribly, but it was also some of Jrue Holiday playing some very solid defense. And Jrue Holiday may have shot 4 of 20. Is shouting out Alex Caruso for this outdated now? Whatever. I'll leave it in there. I won't edit it out. Yeah, shout out to Alex Caruso. So yeah, even though Jrue Holiday shot horribly, he did make an impact on defense. He was actually +8 for the Bucks, and I know plus minus isn't always the best stat to use, but I think the fact that he played at least good defense is what got him a positive plus minus. And DeAndre Ayton, he had 17 rebounds, but also just 6 points. In order for the Suns to bounce back in Game 5, he's definitely going to need to play a lot better, but credit to Mike Budenholzer for making adjustments now and for coming up with a defensive game plan for slowing down DeAndre Ayton and make him have his worst game of the finals yet. And Jay Crowder, he may have scored 15 points, but on 3 of 10 shooting, turned the ball over 3 times and had 5 fouls, so yeah, I wouldn't consider that a good game. But more on to the Bucks side of things now. I have been critical of Mike Budenholzer myself. I'll be the first to admit that, but I don't think he's anywhere near the discussion for worst coach in the NBA. He must have done something right to win 60 games with a Hawks team that had no superstars on it. And he certainly was an upgrade over Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was god-awful though. But after how wrong I was about Tyronn Lue, I think I'll have to give Jason Kidd a chance in Dallas. Maybe he learned from Frank Vogel, but we're not here to talk about Jason Kidd. We're here to talk about the NBA Finals, so yeah. Chris Middleton was in his bag. 40 points, including 14 in the fourth quarter. 10 of them in the last 2 minutes and 7 seconds of the game. Now let's see if Chris Middleton can do this in Phoenix in Game 5. Bucks are certainly going to need that from him, or at least any kind of resemblance of that, in order for them to take a 3-2 lead. And he's been a much better home player than an away player throughout this playoff run, but he did score 29 in Game 1 on the road while shooting 5 of 12 from 3 in Game 1. Like, at least something like Game 1 Chris Middleton is definitely needed for Game 5. And also, PJ Tucker got in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls. Now, while PJ Tucker is a good defender, and he doesn't always need to score to make an impact on the game, my friend Brian pointed this out, that he's not quick enough to be guarding Devin Booker. I agree. And that's how he ended up getting himself in foul trouble. Luckily, it didn't cost the Bucks, but I'd rather have Jrue Holiday or Chris Middleton be guarding Devin Booker the whole time. So with Giannis and his back-to-back 40-point games, and then this time with Devin Booker and Chris Middleton having 40-point games in Game 4, it's the first time in NBA history where 3 different players have scored 40 or more in the same NBA Finals. That's pretty fascinating, isn't it? The player of the game has to be Chris Middleton, but the play of the game for sure is right here. Giannis's block on DeAndre Ayton to break up the alley-oop lob, and you may even say that's the play of the series, especially if the Bucks win this series. I was hoping this series would go the distance, and hey, it's at least going 6 games. And I'd love to see Chris Paul get his first ring, but I'd also love to see Giannis get a ring. Yes, Giannis may have flaws in his game, which are very well documented, but for him to play as hard as he does, to come back from a knee injury that most of us, including myself, expected him to miss at least the first game, maybe even the second game. Yeah, the receipt is there for myself not expecting him to play the first game, maybe the second game in my finals preview video. And knowing that he went from rags to riches, it's really hard not to root for a guy like Giannis. And Brook Lopez only played 19 minutes. He scored 14 in those 19 minutes, but only 1 rebound. So yeah, Giannis, I've been saying this for such a long time, you guys know this. I really want Giannis playing as much center as possible. And I would say Mike Budenholzer did a good job limiting Brook Lopez's minutes, but I'm still going to say I'd like to see Giannis play more center, and I wouldn't say Brook Lopez shouldn't be completely out of the rotation, but yeah, keeping his minutes down is certainly a good thing for the Bucks. And speaking of Giannis, He may have not had the game 2 or 3 that he had, but he still had a very solid game, scoring 26 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, while shooting 11 of 19 and only turned the ball over once. And also made some big plays on defense. And even with DeAndre Ayton severely out-rebounding Brook Lopez, the Bucks as a team still managed to out-rebound the Suns as a team. No rebounds, no rings, right? And the Bucks had 19 second chance points compared to the Suns 7. That and the fact that the Bucks were turning the ball over a lot less than the Suns made me think, even before the Bucks actually took the lead late in the game, that they should be winning this game. The Bucks had 5 turnovers and the Suns had 17. Pretty hard to win that way for the Suns, right? And the Bucks also had 15 fast break points compared to the Suns 0. What would also be nice for the Bucks in Game 5 is if Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Bobby Portis would come back. That one where he scored 22 points, since he hasn't been much of a factor in this series. So as of now, the Bucks have the momentum with 2 wins in a row, but hey, the home team hasn't lost yet in this series, and unlike last year, home court advantage is very much a thing now that we have packed houses, or at least pretty close to full capacity now. At least it looks like it. And having fans, it really is amazing to watch. As much as I'll always cherish the Lakers championship from last year, whenever I go back and look at it, it just feels so weird not seeing fans, just seeing the virtual fans on the screen. And yeah, I have talked about Chris Paul's legacy, as I said before, on here in a previous video, and it was just utter stupidity and severely overrating him that triggered me to talk about it. And I'll say this, getting to the finals made him an absolute penciled in consensus top 10 point guard of all time. He was already in my top 10 before making it to the finals this year, but making it to the finals this year absolutely solidified his case for a top 10 point guard of all time. But he needs to at least win this ring to be in the conversation for top 5 point guard of all time. And he probably won't have a better shot at it than right now. And I think I can still say I feel somewhat okay about picking the Suns, but you guys know if you watched my finals preview video that I wasn't confident about picking them to begin with, just knowing my bad track record. So yeah, I really do think that this is anyone's series to lose, but if I had a gun to my head, I'd still pick the Suns to win. Even with Chris Paul's history of choking in the playoffs, I still don't expect him to be that bad 2 games in a row. And hey, Monty Williams made a great speech to the team after the game. I gotta roll the clip for you guys. I hope this does not get copyrighted. If it does, it is what it is.
This is correct. We're in this situation right now because we put ourselves in this situation. I mean in a good way. We got 3 games to win 2. That's how you gotta look at it. You can't have your heads down right now. You gotta stay together. That's the deal. What happened tonight is correctable. 17 offensive rebounds they got, 17 turnovers we had. Think about that, guys. We had a 21-point fourth quarter. We're making it hard on ourselves, okay? But we can't have our heads down. It's emotionally tough. But we got to know we put ourselves in this position. We got home court advantage. You got to keep your spirit high. That's the deal. Ever since I've been here, we talked about everything you want is on the other side of hard. This is hard. This is freaking hard. So you got to stick together. That's the deal, all right?
So okay, that's the end of this video, and we'll see what happens. Hey, Game 4 was a really good game, wasn't it? Hopefully we get another great game for Game 5. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please remember to like. Really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you still haven't subscribed yet, I'm already 17 minutes in, at least without editing. I'm probably going to be maybe 13 to 14 minutes with editing. I have no idea until I do edit this thing. And if you stuck around for this long, why are you still not subscribed if you haven't subscribed yet? And also, if you could please hit that notification bell, that'd be much appreciated as well. And like I said at the very beginning, baseball and football content is coming. I'm going to drop as much as possible as soon as this finals is over. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Peace.